I call to order the illustrious Parks and Recreation Committee. I'm Roxanne Murphy, chair of the committee, and I'm joined by committee members Councilmember Weiss and Councilmember Vargas. And we have one item today. It is bid award for Joe Martin Field Synthetic Turf Project. So Joe Martin Field currently gets used 3 months a year, and converting this park to the synthetic turf will allow it to be used year-round. Also, this will allow a big array of uses for that field. So we received a grant from the state to do this work. The majority of it will be funded through that grant from the state. And then also some additional park impact fees will be used to cover the total cost of this project. And so staff is recommending that we go with the Field Turf USA organization to do this project. And James, is there anything you'd like to add?
Sure, just a couple other thoughts. Thank you, James King, Parks and Recreation Department. So there are a lot of benefits to this. We've got drainage challenges in the field now, particularly when it rains hard, which it only does that once in a while here, as you know. Also maintenance. This winter, much of the grass died on the field. It was quite a scramble to get it ready for the season this year. So those go away when it's synthetic. Also, our dugouts are undersized. This project, we will be able to enlarge them some and create a better space for the players. As also was mentioned, the short season. I think it's interesting to note when Civic Field was grass, we had about 30 uses a year. We now have over 400 uses a year. So as we see an increase, particularly in lacrosse and rugby and even soccer, a lot of those sports are played in the winter. And we can't allow them on our grass fields. It just tears them up. So that's what we're seeing at Civic is a lot of use for those types of uses. So in creating Joe Martin a synthetic turf, a lot of those practices and things can happen on that field. We won't necessarily have large events with lots of spectators because the way the field will fit in there, it might not fit the best, but over time we may be able to do that. But the big thing is the practices, being able to play places where the mud is not. We're pretty excited about the potential to convert this thing to synthetic and get a lot more use of that facility, and our recommendation is to fund it.
Committee members, any questions or feedback? Councilmember Weiss.
So, James, is the thought that the conversion of the turf would allow for like youth soccer practice in the afternoons?
Absolutely.
That'd be like one of the additional uses. Okay.
Yeah, we would open it up much like we do Civic Field now, where anybody can come and reserve it. And often we have stuff back to back to back all day long. And so it would allow for that all year long.
Good. And then traditionally, just in years past, it seemed like 1 or 2 times a year the Bells would have a fireworks show. Is that a problem with plastic turf with fireworks that might have an ember or two that might come down?
That's a good question. And the answer is no. They light the fireworks off across the street over by the swimming pool on the real grass that's over there. So it's away from the field itself.
Okay. Move to award the bid. Recommend the award.
Okay, we have a motion to award the bid. Any further discussion? Councilmember
James, does it have the same lifestyle as the football one, but it probably would have more of a lifestyle because of the not as much action as the football field?
Yeah, and that's another good question. First base and home plate wear out relatively quickly. With this particular product, you're able to cut those areas out and actually replace pieces of it. But you're right, the outfield, most of the rest of it won't wear out near as fast.
Because the football is, what, about 15 years now with the new product? Something like that?
We're still saying 10.
Well, the way we use it, yeah, I understand that.
It's very, very heavily used. What happens, compaction is a big deal, particularly on a football field where people are being tackled on it. And over time, it just gets compacted and enough of the material moves around or moves off the field, goes home in kids' tennis shoes and all of those sorts of things. So yes, we don't anticipate this to wear out as fast, but we don't know. We're going to, stick with the 10-year, 8 to 10-year warranty, which is what the manufacturers say.
Councilmember Lillquist.
Going off of that, one of the things we ran across recently with Civic Field is, we had to replace the whole thing. And we then, at that point, talked about planning ahead for the next replacement for Civic Field, because it'll be was it $500,000, I think it was? What are we going to do about planning to replace this field when maybe all or more of it needs to be replaced? Is there some kind of a capital plan or replacement plan that's going to be developed to go along with this?
So we've been having that discussion internally. I don't know that we've come up with a perfect solution yet, but yes, we are working on how do we replace it in 10 years and coming up with a plan. We haven't gotten there yet, but we're having that discussion.
Also related to costs, can you just estimate what the annual maintenance and operation costs now are for the natural grass field, and also what there will be for the new field? Because this also needs some maintenance. Are we saving, $10,000 a year or $100,000 a year, or what are we saving?
Sorry, I don't have those numbers with me.
Can I just
can
interject?
get those.
Years ago, way years ago, we were spending about $150,000 to $200,000 on maintenance of the football field because of the drainage and everything. So that's why we went to our artificial turf.
And I can get you an estimate.
It would be nice to know.
There's a lot to it when you
Both my questions
consider
go to the same thing. We're accepting a gift, but the gift comes with costs. So I'd like to know, if we're saving a lot every year, that really justifies the replacement in 10 years or 15 years. Thank you.
Okay, we have a motion to award the bid to Field Turf USA. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Aye, myself. So this carries, and we will bring this forward at tonight's council meeting and adjourn the committee.
Thank you.